Put your hands where I can see them. That's the first thing I heard. No greeting, no explanation, just that sharp bark across the sunny baseball field. I had barely sat down. My name's Elijah Mercer, and I'm a deputy U.S. Marshal. But that afternoon, none of it mattered, because to them, two officers in full uniform, guns ready, I was just a black man sitting alone at a kid's baseball game. I had dressed down. Jeans, navy, polo, nothing flashy. I wasn't on duty. I was just trying to catch my nephew's game at Riverside Park. It was hot. The metal bleachers were already cooking under the sun, and all I wanted was to enjoy watching that kid swing a bat. He loves baseball. I love watching him. It should have been that simple. But it WASN single quotes because Officer Brennan and his partner Hayes had something else in mind. They walked up fast. Didn't even ask what I was doing there before they demanded ID. I kept calm. Always do. Reached slowly for my wallet. Narrated every move like I was in a training video. Back pocket. Reaching slowly. Didn't matter. Brennan grabbed my wrist. Hayes pushed me face first into the bleachers. My cheek burned from the heat of the metal. Handcuffs snapped into place. I heard someone yell, maybe a parent, maybe my nephew's coach. I didn't move. I didn't resist. I just said, flat, steady, I'm a federal officer. United States Marshal. Check my credentials. Brennan laughed in my ear. Sure you are, and I'm the president. Hayes tightened the cuffs until I felt bone. My nephew Jordan was shouting my name from the field, 11 years old, watching his uncle get pinned down like a criminal. They didn't check anything. They didn't care. I offered to call my supervisor, gave them her direct line, gave them the badge number. But Brennan shoved my wallet in his own pocket and told dispatch they had a suspect. No weapon, no crime, just my skin. People started recording. A dad nearby had his phone up. Brennan threatened to arrest him. But others joined in. A dozen phones, then more. I saw one mom, a white woman, step forward and yell, "He didn't do anything." But they didn't stop. They dragged me through the grass like I was nothing. My nephew crying, running after me until his mom caught him. And then the car door slammed inside. I could still hear shouting, my sister, the crowd, the kids. I sat silent, burning. I didn't yell. I didn't plead. I looked out the window and thought, they're going to lie. And I'm going to prove every word false. I wasn't in the car long before more officers arrived. I saw the hierarchy. I saw them trying to build the story, the narrative. Saw one of them, a lieutenant, talk about how I'd acted suspiciously. But I was already 10 steps ahead. Eventually, someone recognized me, a desk sergeant at the station. He stood up fast. "That's Deputy Marshal Mercer," he said. "We worked together on a task force last year." Suddenly, everything changed. The cuffs came off. The tone shifted. Apologies began trickling in, hesitant, but it wasn't over, not even close, because what happened on that field wasn't just about me. It was about how easy it is to weaponize assumptions, how deeply embedded some habits are in people who carry power, and how far they'll go, how many lies they'll stack before admitting they got it wrong. They didn't know who I was, and that scared them. So they doubled down, even tried to plant false reports later. They called me aggressive. They said I escalated, but the footage proved otherwise. Body cam showed everything. Me sitting still, me complying, them grabbing, pushing, slamming, lying, and the cherry on top. Brennan muttered, "You people always play the race card." Not under his breath enough. The whole squad room heard it. That was the turning point. Internal Affairs opened a file. My badge gave me leverage, but I knew I wasn't the first they'd done this to, just the first they couldn't bury. Others came forward. Nurses, students, fathers. Stories that matched mine beat for beat, so I filed the complaint. I pushed for full investigation. I didn't settle quietly, because I couldn't let my nephew grow up believing this was normal. I never thought I'd return to this place. Same park, same rusted bleachers. But this time, no cuffs, no shouting, no suspicion in the air. Just the soft golden light of a late afternoon and the sound of Jordan, my nephew, striking out the last batter of the game. 2 years ago, I sat here and was arrested for the crime of existing while black. Today, I sit in the same spot, free, vindicated, and watching him smile like nothing in the world could touch him. He runs to me now, flushed with joy, shouting, "Uncle Elijah, did you see that pitch?" I grin and pull him into a hug. I saw it, little man. Perfect curveball. He runs back to his team, his laughter trailing behind him, and I breathe in deeply, the air somehow lighter than I remember. After what happened that day, I could have taken the quiet route, accepted the apology, the settlement, buried it all. But I didn't. I chose to fight, not just for myself, but for every person who didn't have a badge to protect them. For every kid like Jordan who might grow up believing this kind of injustice is normal. I exposed what needed to be exposed. I testified. I stood in front of lawmakers, reporters, police departments. I spoke the truth over and over until it could no longer be ignored. The 2 officers who arrested me were fired. One confessed. The other went to prison. But that wasn't the victory. The real victory was the reform. The system cracked open. Complaints once buried were re-examined. Policies were rewritten. Oversight was established. It shouldn't have taken a federal marshal being cuffed on a Saturday afternoon in front of children to start that process, but it did. I think about that every time someone thanks me. Every time a new officer tells me they joined the force because they want to do it right. Like Officer Johnson, who approached me earlier today and said, "Because of what you did, I believe this badge can mean something again." I thanked her, but deep down, I knew it's not about me anymore. It's about momentum. Change. The work doesn't end because a case is closed. It continues every day. Someone decides not to look away. I feel my sister Chenna sit down beside me. She squeezes my hand, eyes still watching her son out on the field. "You did good," she says softly. I nod, not because it's finished, but because it's started. This kid's playing, families cheering, officers helping coach. Instead of intimidate, this is what justice should feel like. Not revenge, not rage, but restoration. Not just punishing the bad but lifting up the good. Jordan's team celebrates at the pitcher's mound, and I stay on the bleachers a moment longer, letting it all sink in. I came back to the place where it all began, not for closure, but for clarity. To remind myself what we're fighting for, and to know, deep in my bones, that justice, when pursued with patience and purpose, does not always arrive loudly, but when it does, it's real, and it's worth it.